The scent of burnt cedar and high-stakes finance hung heavy in the air. I was standing in the wine cellar of the Vintners Reserve, a members-only club in Napa Valley, where the average bottle cost more than my first car. That night, a thin, embossed card was pushed into my hand by the event planner, a nervous gesture orchestrated by my mother-in-law. It read, "Consultant Liaison, please direct guests to restrooms." That was their opening move. My name is Ariel Thorne. I am 36, and I made my name dismantling corporate disasters. To the outside world, I was merely the wife of Harrison Sterling, the heir to Sterling Industries. But tonight, they had chosen to define me as the hired help. Harrison arrived, impeccably dressed, his face flushed with the kind of smugness only inherited wealth can buy. He saw the badge, noticed the conspicuous lack of a place card for me at the exclusive Vintners table, and chuckled, a deep, dismissive rumble that used to fool me into thinking it was affection. "Well, Ariel," he slurred, grabbing a flute from a tray, "looks like Mom's got you on crowd control. Know your role, babe, we're discussing legacy tonight." 7 years of my life. 5 years of waking up at 4 a.m. to manage mergers, acquisitions, and hostile takeovers to fund his lavish lifestyle. 2 full years of secretly stabilizing his family's collapsing international logistics network, the foundation of the Sterling name, while he played polo and golf. And yet, I was less important than a bathroom attendant. I looked at the diamond on my finger, a mammoth rock bought less for love and more for its tax write-off potential. The cold, hard weight felt insulting. I slid it off, took the sharpest steak knife from a nearby dessert tray, and carefully, deliberately balanced the huge ring on the very tip of the blade. "My role is no longer wife," I announced, my voice cutting through the wine-fueled din. The sharp click of the knife settling against the marble bar silenced all 400 attendees, and my consultancy rate just went up. I turned and walked out, leaving the 2-carat symbol of my failed commitment trembling on the edge of the knife. Harrison's face was frozen in stunned disbelief. His mother, Camilla, looked like she might spontaneously combust in her Chanel suit. They thought they had humiliated me. They had only signed the release form on their entire financial future. I grew up the hard way, putting myself through business school by tutoring executives who were dumber than they were rich. I learned that money is just numbers, but leverage is absolute power. When the Sterling logistics empire hit the rocks a few years back, Harrison was nowhere to be found. It was my hands that quietly pulled the company back from the brink of international ruin. I saved every job, every contract, and every shred of the Sterling legacy. For this, I was paid a nominal management fee and told to keep my expertise quiet. They couldn't stand the idea that the company was saved by an outsider, a woman, and a self-made professional. I kept every piece of evidence, not out of malice, but pure professional paranoia. Every covert payment, every illegally fudged ledger entry Harrison directed, every personal expense disguised as corporate restructuring. I stored it all in a hidden, military-grade drive I called the Sterling file. The week before the Napa party, I finally understood the full scale of their contempt. I overheard Camilla telling Harrison, "The consultant liaison badge is perfect. It reminds her where she belongs. After all, her entire worth to us is fixing the messes we make." That night, I realized I wasn't just planning a divorce. I was planning a corporate execution. The walk from the wine cellar to the parking lot felt like a runway. I drove down the mountain toward the glittering lights of San Francisco, the air thick with the smell of pine and the taste of sweet, cold relief. I pulled over at a highway overlook. I didn't shake. I didn't cry. I pulled out my satellite phone and sent 2 encrypted messages. The first went to my second-in-command, a quiet genius named Marcus. Initiate Phase 1, compliance. The second went to a trusted contact at the Department of Justice. The Sterling file is available for review. By the time I reached my temporary apartment, the first subpoenas were being drafted. The divorce wasn't about the ring or the chair. It was about the breach of trust and the underestimation of expertise. Harrison's firm was immediately hit by dual investigations, securities fraud and international logistics violations, all meticulously documented in my files. He wrote me one letter, forwarded by his lawyers, filled with impotent rage and bewilderment. He couldn't comprehend how his little wife had managed to dismantle his kingdom. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. The truth was my attorney. Today, I run Apex Strategic, a firm that specializes in emergency corporate stabilization, and I am one of the most sought-after minds in the industry. The Sterling family name is synonymous with scandal and bankruptcy. Harrison is currently employed as a mid-level manager in a company his father once scorned. The final piece of my story isn't the millions I kept, but the quiet act of justice. On my desk, I keep the consultant liaison badge encased in clear acrylic. Clients often ask about it. I tell them they tried to put me in my place, but they only defined the leverage I needed to take theirs. The night everything ended, they thought they saw a wife walking out. They were wrong. They saw a CEO walking into her future.